It is the 30th of December. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. And I wanted to do a vlog of my year end summary. I always do this on my Facebook. And it works out well because I like to list all the books that I've read. And then I like to reflect on the books that I've read. And so, in addition, I usually post how many drum covers or drum videos I've done, guitar videos I've done, and some family highlights and things of that sort. And I'm not going to get too deep on the family stuff because it is YouTube, but I am going to give you some of my accomplishments. So this year, well, let me start it this way. As some of you know from a few of my vlogs that I've done, this is the first year that I have not had surgery in 12 calendar months in 3 years. So last year and the year before, I had surgeries, and I almost got septic the second one. The first time I did get septic, and that's very dangerous. And I started to have a problem about a month ago, and it's gotten much better. So I've gotten through 12 months of not needing a surgery. So I only have to make it one more day, and it's official. I'm very happy about that. And any of you that have watched that video about my experience that I had after surgery last year, you know that I'm very tight with God and very appreciative of Him. Hi, Shock Zone. Hello. And I'm very super blessed that I got through a year and didn't have to have another surgery because it's not pleasant, and didn't want anymore. Keep it that simple. So now let's go into, I'm blessed all around. My children are doing great, and my family is doing great. And now I'm going to tell you some technical stuff. I did 374 drum covers this year. Well, not drum covers, drum videos. A lot of those were kind of solos that were drum circle type of drum solos where you can just take a beat and start messing around with it. I was hoping other people would get involved in that. Didn't really pan out, but I had a good time doing that. And as a drummer, you shouldn't be all about playing songs all the time. You should be able to sit down with a drum and try to get better. The other thing I did this year is I kind of reverted back to a little bit of traditional grip, and I'm not great at it. It's difficult for me because I played match grip my whole life, but I am having fun with traditional grip now. And I've noticed that when I started doing it, it was very uncomfortable. And now it's not. As long as I'm playing a mid to slower tempo song, it's actually pretty doable. And so that was 374 drum videos, which was averaging more than one a day, which is I'm pretty happy about. And so on to guitar. I did 82 guitar covers this year. And it's not the most I've ever done, but I along, and this is not designed to be, hey, look at me, or anything like that. It's designed to force myself to play in front of other people in hopes that I improve, right? That's, if you're a student of your instrument or instruments, you want to improve. So as much as I can get in front of a camera and not feel like a doofus and try to get through pieces and stuff and produce something that's semi-quality I'm happy with, that makes me feel good. And I actually did some finger picking on Dust in the Wind this year, and that's very difficult. I'm no good at finger picking, and I was able to pull a little bit of that off, and that made me happy. So 82 of those I did this year. And I'm not going to be doing any music until January 1st or later because I just want to enjoy the next couple of days. I've not been reading for probably, well, I have been, but I haven't finished a book in a couple weeks. I stopped a few weeks ago. As of that point, I read 64 books. And when I got to 52, I thought, wow, that's pretty good. I've read a book a week on average, and I actually topped that by another 12. So I got 64 books done in a year. I'm going to put the names of them in the comments somewhere if I can. I don't know if I could do that on live video. I'm not sure if it's got the little place to put that or not. Maybe I could put it in this chat box. Let's see what happens. Probably says too many words. It didn't do anything. Oh yeah, it's way too many words. Well, let me go through it then. Screw it. I read 64 books. I read the Corsican. So these are all Dumas, the first 5, Alexander Dumas. I did the Corsican Brothers, the Wolf Leader, the Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood, the Outlaw, 20 Years After, which 20 Years After was kind of long and begrudging. I probably liked the Corsican Brothers, the Prince of Thieves, and the Wolf Leader. I don't know. They were all pretty good. Anyway, that was my Dumas books this year. I read all of the official L. Frank Baum Oz books and even a short story collection by him, and then one by Ruth Plumley Thompson, which is the Royal Book of Oz. So that was quite a few books. I read Robinson Crusoe, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, The War in the Air by H.G. Wells, The Prince and Pauper by Mark Twain, Tortilla Flat by Steinbeck. I read the 2 first vampire books by Anne Rice, which is Interview with the Vampire, Vampire Lestat. And one of the best books was Le Morte d'Arthur, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Really liked that. I read 2 Jane Austens, was The Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice. I read The Arabian Nights, kind of hit and miss. Pilgrim's Progress was kind of weird. I read 2 Stephen Kings, which is not very many compared to what I usually do. I read Cujo and The Dark Half. I read 5 Perry Mason books. Is that right? No, 6 Perry Mason books. I read all of the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, and they were kind of okay. I read The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis, which was pretty stupid. Read my first John Dixon Carr mystery, The Burning Court, which is real good. I read 1 Agatha Christie, which is less than normal, Evil Under the Sun. And for nonfiction, I read Reed Timmer, The Tornado Chasers, Into the Storm. I read of The Art of War by Sun Tzu, The Bounty Mutiny by William Bly, which I really liked. The Discourses in Enchiridion by Epictetus, which was good. The Book of 5 Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, which is Strategy of the Samurai. I didn't like that very much. I read the erotic poems by Ovid, which I didn't like very much. And the Egyptian Book of the Dead was more of a picture book. I read the Big Book of Christian Apologetics by Norman L. Geisler. Drums and Shadows. The Story of My Life by Helen Keller. Then I read 3 nonfictions by C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity, The Four Loves, The Problem of Pain. But the absolute best book of the year, out of all 64 of them, was The Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis. Without a doubt, nothing was close to that. So if you are a believer or not, doesn't matter. Read The Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis. It is a great book. Will make you feel humble, where your standing is in this world and how you need God. And you should try harder. That's what you should do. Try harder. Everybody try harder. Be better to your brother in 2026. Be better to your fellow man in 2026. Because the world is screwed up and it's seemingly on the wrong track, going to get worse, maybe perhaps next year. And you can be a small part of making other people have a better existence. So I really, really enjoyed that book. And other than that, I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate my subscribers. It's been kind of a long speech. I don't usually do that. But thank you for watching my channel. Again, I'm not there for attention. If you like anything I do, that's great. Hopefully there's drummers that learn something from what I'm doing. Maybe even not learning, but you become inspired by the fact that I just love to play the drums. I will tell you this, that my son and I, we share the same opinion about playing drums as opposed to playing guitar. Playing guitar, you have to kind of map it out a little bit more. Drums, arguably, if you have talent at it, I guess, is easier than guitar. Unless you're like a guitar virtuoso, at least it is for me, it's easier to play drums. Usually you could sit down and just play a beat and it's okay, unless it's a complex song, you need to map it out sometimes. And sometimes I do it, and sometimes I just say, forget it, I'm going to go play and have fun, because that's the goal anyway. But with guitar, you kind of have to know, if not exactly how they're playing it, pretty close or close enough to make it sound the same or similar. And it takes a little bit more focus, I think, and work than playing the drums does. And in that regard, the amount of enjoyment you get doing it is probably not as much. It's especially singing and playing guitar at the same time it is really a challenge. Now, if you've done it your whole life and you become a wizard at it, like Buck Dharma or somebody of Oyster Cult, who is my favorite all-time guitar player, it's probably more enjoyable for him because he could change up what he does every time he plays to a degree, and it's spontaneous, not thought out and mapped. But for myself to produce a guitar piece like that, not like his, but just a guitar piece, I have to try harder, and it takes more focus, and hence the lot smaller number of covers on guitar, 82 as opposed to 374. You're probably not learning much of what I'm doing on guitar. If anything, if you're just an acoustic guitar player and you want to learn, don't give up just because it's difficult. Keep trying, because it isn't easy. And singing and playing at the same time is even harder. And what you almost need to do is sing with the song and memorize it and get good at that before you even try to throw the guitar in. I've found that if I try to do a guitar piece, a song that I don't know from my youth by heart, that it's a lot more difficult to cover it than if I know it in my head. Because then singing and playing it, it's almost like you're playing as the group, the way you've heard it for years. But if it's a relatively new one and you're going by chord charts and stuff, it's harder because the vocal melodies aren't really ingrained in your brain, right? So it's harder. But that said, don't give up. Hopefully I inspire someone to play guitar, drums, to read more. Reading, you really learn a lot of the world, and more than what you think it is. It helps you absorb people from other times, and that's why I like to read older books, because they say not to repeat history, right? You're supposed to see what they did well and what they didn't do well, how to avoid some of the things that they did, how to do better than some of the things they did. So books are real valuable. Don't just watch TV all the time, or pick up a guitar, pick up some sticks, try a new instrument, play a piano. I'm really bad at keyboards. But maybe one day I'll start playing on a piano. I don't know. Anyway, music is fun, and do something that's fun, that you can feel like no matter what's going on around you in this crazy world, you can kind of zone out for a while, especially like drums. Man, if you get in the zone in drums, you're just there with your drums, and that's it. And I love that, and I always have loved that. And yeah, I'm happy with this year, even though there was a lot of chaos and confusion. For me personally, it's a pretty good year, and for my family, good year. And I like to thank Jesus Christ for being my Lord and Savior, and for everything he does for me and my family and giving me blessings in them. I'm so appreciative, and I don't do even close to what I should do to repay him. But try to think of that too in 2026, that you could really do a lot for other people, and the Lord, that will come back to you, make you feel better too. Um, let's all try to do better in 26.